Hey, how's it going? And welcome to Whisky Whims with me, Stuart. Today, I'm going to go through how to become an influencer, and specifically how to become a whisky influencer. Now, to start with, what you want to do is create an account, create an Instagram account, YouTube or whatever, get a nice name, let's just say Whiskey Dreams, I don't know if that's been taken, but something like that, and start creating some content, start putting some posts out there. Very, let's say, positive posts. Let's say you're talking about these whiskies, saying they're all nice and tasty, good stuff, and then maybe even buy some little sample sets from companies and go to town about how good these sample sets are. Make sure to tag the companies in your posts and things like that so they're aware of it, and soon they'll start sending gifts. And this is exactly what happened with me with the famous grouse. So this was sent to me by the company that makes it, which is Edrington, and they sent me this to review. So I'm going to show you how to properly go about reviewing a whisky that was sent to you by a company. So first off, you're going to need to put a paid promotion thing up there, or hashtag gifted, something like that. And if you're wanting to be sent this stuff over and over and over again, you need to make sure you're being positive. So even if this is complete garbage and I absolutely despise it, I'm not going to let that show at all, and I'll show you how I'll work around it. So we'll get a glass. So we've got a glass and we'll go a little bit into the bottle. So it's a blend, it's blended Scotch whisky, it's 40% ABV, and it says on the front of it, the finest Scotch whiskies, expertly blended and matured in seasoned oak cask for a rich, rounded sweetness. Now this is a limited edition, it's the famous British and Irish Lions version, and this costs about £45. Although I didn't buy it, this was gifted to me, as I said. So, although it was gifted to me, I probably would still buy it. That's one of the points you need to make sure you say as well. Even though the item, the bottle was gifted to you, that you'd buy it. Another thing maybe worth mentioning as well is saying, although this is paid for promotion, all my views are honest. There was no changing of money, no money into my hand. The only monetary value thing that I got was the bottle itself. So that's definitely not a payment. So we'll get down to the nose and that in the whiskey. Cut that. Yeah, so the nose, yeah, a very sweet whiskey. It's definitely whiskey, it's definitely a blend. A lot of things going on there. And although I didn't purchase this, I think I would buy this. It's very interesting, a lot going on, quite a lot of depth. Not very thin as I thought it would be. It's nice. Yeah, I think that's a good nose. The palate. The palate, lots of that oak coming through, as mentioned. 40% ABV. It's very smooth, not rough at all. A really nice mouthfeel in there. I thought it was going to be a little lacking, but there's a lot going on. Very positive whiskey notes there. Very generic whiskey notes. That's what's in there. Nice, tasty, generic whiskey notes. So yeah, the finish is maybe a little bit kind of short, but overall this is quite a nice whiskey. And let's say I didn't enjoy this whiskey. Say I really hated this whiskey, although I got sent it, and I want to make sure I'm still getting those gifts through, getting those samples through. How I would overcome that, strategically use some words to kind of bypass the fact that it's a terrible whiskey, which this isn't at all. Sorry, Edrington. So how I would say it is, I would say, given time, this whiskey really opens up, or adding some water changes this whiskey dramatically. Sharing this whiskey with friends finally becomes, makes the whiskey, I don't know, more enjoyable. So you're not actually saying it's terrible, but you're not actually saying how you feel about it. You're just saying that Adding water makes it more enjoyable, sharing it with friends makes it more enjoyable. So if it's absolutely horrible, then adding water makes it a little bit better. So you're not actually telling your feelings, and that's what you need to do with your reviews and your posts. You don't want to give too much conclusion away, too much opinion, because you want to try and stay as honest as possible. So that's what you need to do. Make sure to tag the distillery, the company, as I said, in your post, and also maybe ask a question. Say, have you got this bottle yet? If it's an Instagram post, have you tried this? Or if it's a YouTube review, let me know what you think in the comments. Have you tried this yet? Have you picked it up? Are you sure you've not picked this up yet? You should probably pick this up. And things like that, just to kind of get the message across. So yeah, that's been my how to kind of be a YouTube creator, whiskey YouTube creator, whiskey influencer, and yeah, that's really all I've got to say. Yeah, on a serious note, obviously, I have no issues with people taking samples or bottles of whiskey, as long as they're honest. This is a more serious side of things. Obviously, that was a satire skit, if you could tell. But I know plenty of reviewers who take samples, who are honest, who still have their integrity, and you can tell that they're honest because they don't always give positive reviews. But I feel my main gripe with the whole freebie, gifted kind of side of things on Instagram and YouTube is it's really hard for the person digesting the review, me, yourself, watching it or reading it. It's really hard to decipher whether or not this is truthful content because it's gifted. And I was gifted a bottle of McMyra Brooks Whisky, or Brooks Whisky, however you want to say it, and I reviewed it on my channel. Like I said, I got it gifted to me, reviewed it on my channel, gave it an okay review, but looking back on it and subconsciously, I think there was some part of me that compensated for the review, compensated for the whiskey because I was gifted to it. And I think that's very hard to detach yourself from, and what people might get hung up on without realising as well, because it's a subconscious thing, that when you get gifted something, it is going to be really hard to say it's a bad whiskey unless you completely detach yourself from it. Because getting a gift is something good, that's something nice, someone's given you something, and it's generous. Even though if they have an ulterior motive, they want their product pushed out, they want it reviewed by you or whoever, they want to get as much exposure, it's still a nice thing to get a free whiskey. But I can imagine, and I've obviously been there, it's really hard to detach yourself from that gifted part of it. And I removed my video from YouTube because I really wasn't happy with myself, and I swore never to take samples again. But like I said, I've got no issue with people taking samples as long as they're honest. My biggest issue, biggest gripe with it all, and this has been 100% genuine, is I think that some people are lying. And that's a bold statement to say. It's probably not even my place to say, but I think there are people maybe not even lying on purpose, but lying and not realising. Because at the end of the day, we are people like me doing videos like this. I do it because I enjoy whiskey and because I enjoy making videos, and it's good that some people watch it and some people interact with it. But at the end of the day, we are reviewing something that people are potentially going to purchase, potentially going to part their hard-earned cash with to buy a bottle of. So if I'm being dishonest because I've been given a gift and I'm saying it's quite nice and it's an okay whiskey and all this stuff, and not really giving too much away with regards to value for money, with regards to my true feelings, then I could be misleading someone and they could go and spend £80, even £50 is a lot of money, regardless if it's whiskey or not. Like, that's a lot of money, and whiskey is a lot of money. So I could be misleading someone £80, £100, £150, and I just don't think it's fair. I think it's almost unethical, immoral in a sense. It's a grey area as well because some people might not realise they're doing it, but I think we need to really have a kind of look at ourselves when we're getting gifted content, and decide whether or not it's worth reviewing and if it's actually good or not, or if we're just doing it to get more likes, more subscribers, more views, more free whiskey, more free gifts, or whatever. I know not everybody's in the same financial circumstance where they can just buy as many bottles as they want and review as many bottles as they want, but I still don't see that as an excuse to almost sell yourself out to get more free stuff in. Like I said, I know a lot of people who review samples from industry and they give it honest reviews, and I know they give it honest reviews because sometimes they're not very flattering reviews, and I think that's another point as well. When you've got ambassadors, they're specifically getting paid to do a role, to promote the whiskey, to push it out there. When you've got influencers, creators reviewing whiskey that they've been sent, it's a blurred line. You're hard to tell if they are being genuine or if they're doing it just because they got sent samples. Whereas if you're an ambassador side by side who's getting paid by the industry, you know his intentions. If you've got a creator who's been gifted whiskey, you don't really know their intentions, and that's kind of my issue with it. It's hard to tell, and it's more of a trust thing for me, and I'm not very trustworthy. So yeah, I hope that's been somewhat I don't know, and hopefully not a negative video. Hopefully I've not annoyed anyone or anything. I just wanted to get my thoughts across. I wanted to see what you guys think as well. Yeah, get the comments in. Yeah, I want to see what you guys think of the whole freebies thing. I know a lot of people don't enjoy it, don't rely on these reviews, but I know a lot of people do, and I know a lot of kind of majority of people do get dragged in towards these things. But yeah, it'd be good to see what you guys think. Also, in my description, my bio below, I've got a link to my Patreon. If you want to support me through there, that'd be greatly appreciated. I have also just released whiskey coins, and if you want a hold of one of them, I've got numbers available, 0 to 100. Some are already gone. Just leave me a message, and we'll speak about them. But yeah, that's all for support of the channel. All to help me buy more whiskey and review more whiskey. That's how I'm trying to stay independent. So yeah, thanks for watching. I've been Stuart, this has been Whiskey Whims. I'll see you later.